All right, I got some things I need to get off my chest. Um, the rules of life, basic universal foundational spiritual truth, unwritten rules. Now, everybody knows there's written rules, but let's say you never learned to read or write. Let's say reading and writing didn't exist. Then all of the rules would be unwritten and they would be shared, like in the oral tradition. So, where do those rules come from? I mean, when you think about it, if you lived on an island by yourself, like Tom Hanks in Castaway, what would the unwritten rules be? They'd all be based upon survival. And it would be something more like a routine, based upon the unwritten rules of life itself. Like, for example, if in your routine for survival you collected something to burn every night so you could stay warm, or you could cook your food, the last thing you'd collect is water to try and burn. The unwritten rules of life just have it that way. Now you look at something like, say, the Bible. Yeah, it's got the Ten Commandments. Those are written rules. What are they based upon? Why would it say, do not covet? I mean, in Genesis, it talks about how Cain killed Abel over jealousy, how Satan rebelled in heaven because he wanted God's throne, he coveted God's throne. Cain wasn't a devil worshiper, but yet he did something that shared an attribute with the devil, and God still protected it. That makes a lot of sense on why that written rule would be that way. I know not everybody believes in the Bible or believes what it says, but when it comes to human nature itself, those are some things that in a lot of ways are pretty undeniable. Look at the Menendez brothers. They murdered their parents for money and then framed some innocent people for it that had nothing to do with it because they knew the people they were telling that story to would believe them. I mean, when it comes to unwritten rules, some of the unwritten rules I learned in Colorado concerning the Aryan Brotherhood were they don't have to tell the truth to anybody who's not of the same skin. They don't have to keep their word to anybody that is not of the same skin. How do such unwritten rules truly help humanity as a whole? The movie Starship Troopers had human beings at war with bugs that were trying to annihilate us. It was actually based on a series of books, where in those books, years before the events in the movie Starship Troopers itself took place, a human exploration ship crashed on the planet with the bugs. They sucked out their brain, learned a lot, and realized that for the hive minded bugs, to them, humanity was a threat that needed to be wiped out because the individual brain that allowed them to think for themselves was contrary to the hive mind of the bugs, and they called the brain a tumor. Humanity isn't a hive, it's a tribe. A tribe that is different, that is sanctified, set apart from every other form of life on this planet. Whether you believe in creation or evolution, there is definitely more to life when it comes to human beings than any other form of life that we've encountered. And it's from the inside out. So when it comes to living life and living life by unwritten rules, What is it you seek? That's what you'll find. Basic, universal, foundational, spiritual truth are the unwritten rules I choose to live my life by. And for 30 years, people that choose to live by unwritten rules that give them power, profit, and popularity have called me a travesty and God's mistake and tried to make me their slave. Because with the unwritten rules of life itself, I've been blessed. And they want it all for themselves. Because they're a curse. There's nothing new under the sun. I am no better and no worse than anybody else. I just try to choose wisely. Wake up, humanity. It's time to grow up. Life is lived from the inside out. But the center of you is not what everything revolves around, and quit trying to make rules and unwritten rules that force it to be that way. It's time to truly work together. This is why I was working on concept technology for Deep Space Fleet in the first place. Either we go extinct because of ourselves, or we make an intergalactic civilization. You can insist that the latter's happening anyway. So that what? We can take the attitudes of ancient civilization, which still exist in present civilization, and just go to the stars with it? I love the show Ancient Aliens. It talks about ancient astronaut theorists and how they could be trying to help humanity move forward. In what fashion? Technology? Ancient civilizations had slavery, torture, all that jazz. Human beings treating human beings like trash. Is this what ancient astronauts came here for? Because they're the same way and they passed it on to us? And we just keep proliferating it? And we're going to go to the stars and pass it on to another civilization like ours when we come across them? Or are we going to go for some true enlightenment? That's something to pass on isn't going to be just how to make a battery. It's going to be how to be a light from the inside out. May the blessings of the Lord be upon you in Jesus' name. I love you, human fan.